Welcome back, America. It's Hugh Hewitt. Thank you for listening to the program this morning. Very few people have served as an actual medical doctor who have also served as the chairman of the House Budget Committee and as the Secretary of Health and Human Services. One of those very few people in that Venn diagram is Dr. Tom Price, old friend of the program. Secretary Price, welcome back. Good to have you.
Hey, Hugh, good morning. Great to be with you. Thanks so much.
I read with great interest yesterday your piece for Fox News. Coronavirus highlights healthcare system flaws. This will make it worse. What has the virus revealed about American healthcare?
Well, there are a lot of challenges that American healthcare has, and we've known that for decades. Literally, you and I have talked about it a lot, and certainly your listeners know that. But there seem to be some individuals, and maybe more now than in a long time, who view any challenge to the healthcare system as an opportunity to get government more involved. And so this Medicare for all, a government-run healthcare system, a single-payer system, most people who understand and appreciate the system believe it would make things worse. And so I think it's important to talk about that. There are challenges that we have, but the last thing we need is the government to run our healthcare system.
Now, Secretary Price, what happened at the CDC, in your opinion, when it came to the testing breakdown at the beginning of this crisis?
Yeah, this is fascinating. It's an extremely important question to answer. But I think that if you step back and appreciate that we as a nation are now watching a novel scientific work being done in real time. And scientific work has all sorts of fits and starts. It's got successes, it's got failures, you think you're going down the right path, and it's not the right path, and there's all sorts of uncertainty. But most often, the vast majority of the time, that's never seen by the public because it's all behind the scenes. There isn't the urgency of getting it done. So what happened with the CDC is one of the things that happens often is that you try something, it doesn't work the way you thought it was going to work, and then you have to pull back. Now, if they're to be faulted for anything, I think that the fact that there were other tests available around the world that were being used, and seemingly they were unwilling to have those be used in the United States, I think that likely is a fault. But in terms of what they were doing, they were just doing the scientific work that's important to figure out exactly what's going on and how to solve this problem.
Now, Dr. Fauci, when he was on early in the crisis, said to me, no one is to blame for what happened at CDC. There was a technical glitch. I believe that's a direct quote. What's that mean?
Well, again, as you watch these these are all experiments. Frankly, I mean, when you have emergency use authorization for a medication, that's an experiment. We don't know that those things are going to work. What we're trying to do is to throw everything in the kitchen sink at this, which is the appropriate thing to do right now. But you can't then blame individuals who come to the table with what they believe to be the best solution or the best opportunity to solve these things, and say, well, you shouldn't have done that, because we don't know what the outcome of all of this is. This is science is uncertain until you figure it out, and this is a new disease. It's not a new type of virus, but it's a new disease, and we're working through it. And it's been a huge challenge, and many people have suffered from it. And God bless the families of those who passed away. But this is not unusual in the scientific method. Now, the last thing you want to do is to put the government in control of all this, because then you would lock down even more what would be the opportunity to solve the problem.
Yeah, I think one of the takeaways I took from your piece on Fox News is that if you want a worse next pandemic, give more authority to the government, because you'll have more breakdowns and less opportunity to recover from them.
Yeah, exactly, and frankly, less transparency. Now, if you look at the exciting things that are going on right now in terms of solving this, the vast majority of it coming from the private sector. The new vaccines, every day we get a new article about a possible treatment that could solve this challenge. And the problem with that is that we won't know whether or not they're going to work until we try them. Normally, that trial, those phase trials that the FDA runs, are outside the public eye. So don't be surprised if there are more fits and starts, if there are more, if there's something that folks talk about as being the panacea, the thing that's going to solve everything. And in fact, it doesn't. That doesn't mean somebody did something wrong. It means that's just the way that this virus is acting, and we're still trying to figure it out.
Now, Dr. Price, yesterday I had Mark Zuckerberg on, and of course, not in addition to Facebook, he helms the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative, which is a big science-driven, infectious disease-focused, not-for-profit. I asked
Yep.
him, when do you think a vaccine will be done? He said, honestly, Q1, earliest. The president is more optimistic. What's Tom Price think?
I think it is quite possible that because of all of the resources and all of the work that's being done, that we will have a vaccine that will be able to be tried in large numbers of individuals, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of individuals, by mid-late fall. But Q1
Wow.
is a reasonable estimate as well. And again, there's no way to know. That's why this thing's so frustrating for the general public, is because Tom Price can't tell you, Anthony Fauci can't tell you, Mark Zuckerberg can't tell you, the president can't tell you when all this is going to happen, because we're doing it in real time before the public's eye.
That is a
Fascinating learning opportunity for the nation.
That is a great point. It is a great op-ed, Dr. Price. Great to have you as always. Good to make touch with you. Let's stay in touch as we move down this pandemic path. Much appreciated.